Okay, so here we are back in the kitchen. We've got the elderberries. And like I said in the previous video, there are two ways that you can get these off of the stems. Some people freeze them and then you can just immediately shake them. I guess that makes it easier to fall off of the stems. And the other way is to use a fork and to gently scrape them off like that. Let's see. Gotta get a better angle on this camera. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just scraping this off. I suppose you can use your fingers as well, but then you will probably get a lot of elderberry stained juice on your fingers. And from what I read, it takes a while to get that off. Since this is my first time, I'm just gonna go with the air of caution, use the fork. All right, so that takes a while. I think I'll pause the video, scrape through all of my branches, and then I'll get back to you. All right, hang tight. Okay, so I have finished taking the stems off of the elderberries, and now I'm going to rinse them because we've got to wash it, and then I'll still be able to get some more of those loose stems. I'm also going to separate any loose green elderberries in there because those are not healthy to eat. So get rid of just a handful of them. I'll be right back. Kitchen. So today we are going to be trying elderberry syrup. So I picked these fresh from the garden. This is my first time picking elderberries. It was fun. It's a little tricky trying to get them off of the stalk. So as I mentioned before, some people freeze the elderberries and then it's easier to shake them off, but I'm using fresh elderberries. So the things that you will need for this recipe, 2 cups of elderberries. You'll need a pot of boiling water, raw honey, cinnamon. You can either use fresh cinnamon or powdered cinnamon, fresh ginger or powdered ginger, and cloves. You'll also need some kind of container to store your elderberry. In this case, I'm recycling an old spice jar. All right, so I've washed and taken out all the green elderberries from the branches, and now I'm going to boil them. So in between, I'm pretty much just going to pause the video as we come from one step to another. So right now we are going to boil this for about 30 minutes until you can see the water changing to a deep red color, and then you can start crushing them. So first step, boiling for 30 minutes. Be right back. Okay, so at this point, the elderberries have boiled for 30 minutes, and I'm using a pot spoon. You can use any kind of vegetable smasher to press the elderberries and release their juices. So right now I'm just squashing them a little bit in the pot. You can see that's a beautiful maroon, almost wine color. It's got not really a sweet smell, more like a potato carrot boiling type of smell. And I can see all the little pulp coming out. You can have a close-up right there. So I'm just sort of pressing that into the water so it can release all of its juices. And then when this is done, I'm going to use a sieve to strain all of the solids out and collect only the juices. All right. Oh, by the way, I did add about another cup of water halfway through the boiling because it was starting to boil too much and leave only the fruit in there. So I added a little bit more water so that I'll have some juice in there. Okay. So now I'm going to get my strainer. Let me see if I can stabilize the camera. Okay, I brought it back to this side. So right now I'm just straining through the sieve. If you have a bigger strainer, that probably worked faster, but this is what I have. Get rid of that extra pulp. And since that's all natural, I can put all the pulp back into the garden and compost when it's cool. Because right now this is still piping hot. Okay, just press that in. The color on okay. Look at that beautiful, beautiful wine color. Pour that liquid back in. A touch of ginger. I'll put a few cloves. Just gonna put, oops, that's too much. We got 5 cloves. And a couple dashes of cinnamon powder. Okay, and stir. Okay, and how much honey do I need? 1/4 cup of honey. We got this honey from the Smoky Mountains when we went on vacation. Boy, was that a beautiful view. In the middle of the day. Can't open. In the middle of the day, the clouds lay very low over the mountains and makes it look like fog, but it's actually the clouds. It's so beautiful. All right, so I'm guesstimating here at how much honey I need. 1/4 cup of honey. Can't go wrong with honey. See? From Smoky Mountains. Okay, I'll mix that all in. Now while I'm stirring, I can actually see it getting a little bit thicker with all those ingredients that we added. So this is going to be on low. Basically, I want to boil that for a few minutes. Now according to the recipe, you can can this. I'm just going to seal it in a nice jar here. I haven't actually began canning any of my fruits and vegetables. I haven't had much of an excess. So that may be a project for the future to learn about canning. Okay, I'm stirring that for a bit. And as it cools, it's going to get thicker. So what I'm going to do is pour it into my mason jar and let it cool in the jar. That way I don't have to worry about coming back to it again. Okay, I'm going to rinse my ladle. Let's see if we can get this in here without much of a mess. There we go. This is going to be just enough for this jar. Whoa, it's gonna be close. Alright, there we go. A little bit more. Alright. So everyone, I'm not gonna try to hold the jar right now, but I'm gonna print a nice beautiful label and put that on my jar. Here we've got elderberry syrup for the first time. Wow, that's pretty cool. Alright, I'm going to leave that to cool. Well, thank you for joining me on another wonderful video. This was a new one for me. So if you're up to it, try it, and we can try to make new things with fruits and vegetables from our garden. So enjoy.